Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Tori. I am here to give you my September TBR MBR. Can we just talk about the fact that this year is going a little too quickly for everyone's good? Like, it's getting a little nuts and I'm not sure how I feel about it. But here we are and it's almost September and that's just crazy. So this month's TBR is going to be a little bit different. I am super excited to draw a couple of books from my TBR jars, which will be the first time I've done this for an official TBR video. I'm really nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous about this. I think one of the reasons why I've hesitated with TBR jars in the past is just because it feels so final. One of the things that I struggle with TBRs is the commitment factor. The fact that I get to this point in the month and I'm like, man, these are the books I'm going to read, and then I get into that month and things never go the way that I think they're going to go, and I end up not reading something I said I was going to, and then I put all that pressure on myself because that's, you know, what we do here on BookTube. This month I decided to start a little bit slow with these TBR jars. We're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how we like it. And I'm going to draw some very specific TBR categories, which I'm very excited about. But before we get to the TBR jars, let's talk about the books that I will be reading in September. Now I have four-ish that are slated for the TBR for September, and anything on top of that is going to be a mood read because here we are and I'm still filling my TBR with things that I have to read, but it's fine because I've got some fantastic buddy reads and read-along picks lined up for this month in September, and I'm just very excited about that. So the first one, if you haven't seen my read-along announcement, please go check that out because I would love to have you join me and the channel reading this trilogy. It has been a long time coming. It's been on so many of my I Want to Read This videos, and I cannot wait to actually read it in September, start reading it. And that is the Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee. In September, I will be reading Jade City. I will be vlogging this. This is my next kind of big fantasy series vlog project after doing the first Law trilogy, and I'm really excited about this. I have talked to so many people who have told me, Tori, you are going to absolutely chef's kiss love this series, and I'm really excited to find out if they're right. Mafia gangster family meets Asian inspired fantasy. What is not to love about that? Honestly, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I've heard great things about the characters in this series, and I've been told that there's a character I'm going to hate. I've been told that there's characters I'm going to love, and I'm just ready for it. I'm so excited. So I really hope that if you either haven't read this before or are itching for a reread of the Greenbone Saga, feel free to grab a copy and join along on the channel. Read along in September, October, and November when we'll be reading through this series. These books are not dense from my understanding. They're going to be pretty quick reads and fun reads, I hope, but with a lot of great themes, great depth, great characters, and honestly I need a little bit of that in my life right now, and I'm really looking forward to it. Next up, I will finally be finishing The Long Price Quartet by Daniel Abraham. I honestly don't really regret spacing this quartet out, even though the books are pretty short. There's so much in them. Not a single word is wasted in these books, and they are just so dense in the best way possible. And I hesitate using the word dense because I know that scares a lot of people off, but honestly, I really mean that. These books are incredible. I have given all three of the first books 5 stars so far, and the last one has the big payoff that everybody's been telling me about apparently, so I'm really looking forward to reading the final installment of The Long Price Quartet. This is a series that does not get talked about enough on BookTube, and I intend to change that as soon as I finish the quartet and can talk about the series as a whole. I don't even know how to categorize this, but if you've been looking for a series that might be a little bit more really high-level epic fantasy that's a little bit denser, really a slow exploration of character and love and a lifetime of decisions and all of those things in a world that's just incredibly immersive and you don't want to commit to a series that's incredibly long with a whole bunch of dense books, Long Price Quartet is a great option for you because each of these books is only 250 pages long. So it really gives you that dense, long fantasy series feel, but in a much shorter, easier to digest package, which I think is one of the huge benefits of this series. So anyways, I will be reading The Price of Spring in September and finishing out the Long Price Quartet finally. I'm very excited to see what the ending of this story looks like and what the end of this generational tale and these characters end up with at the conclusion of the series. I have been buddy reading this series alongside my friends Pete from Ponderings of Pete and Madison Goodyear. I will link them both down below, and it's just been a really great experience. Next up, this is a maybe. This one we're gonna see. I am currently starting Dead House Gates, which for those of you that don't know is my favorite fantasy novel of all time. It is book 2 in the Malazan Book of the Fallen by Steve Erickson. I'm diving back into the series now to reread up through the end of book 4, House of Chains, and then I will be reading the rest of the series for the first time, and I am just really excited about it. I've been going at a very slow, easy pace through this. I'm not forcing it. We're just reading as we feel ready, and that's been a really good way to go about it. I am buddy reading this with my friend Nuclear Powered Katie, who actually has a channel now, guys. Go subscribe to her. She's going to be posting some videos in the near future, and I am so happy that I can finally link her down below. And also my friend Ty the Reader Guy. So yeah, I'm very excited to potentially start Memories of Ice. Now, this is the trade paperback version. This is a door stopper right here. So it's a little intimidating, you know, it's gonna be fine. I really enjoyed Memories of Ice the first time that I read it. It didn't supersede Dead House Gates for me, but it was a definite close second? I don't know. I'm excited once I get to the end of the series to rank all of the books and see where I actually land on my favorites list in Malazan, but that's a ways down the road. Yeah, Memories of Ice is a maybe. We'll see how we're feeling at the end of Dead House Gates. If we need to take a wee break, we will do that. But yeah, I am very excited to continue my journey through Malazan and looking forward to just reading these again for the first time in a decade and seeing how the experience differs from the first go-around. Next up on the Buddy Read docket is The Last War by Mike Shackle. My friend Dr. John Morrow and I have been starting with We Are the Dead here in August, and I'm not entirely sure if we're going to get to A Fool's Hope right after that, but if we do, it will be on it's on the MBR for September. We'll just throw it over there. I'm very excited to get to this trilogy. This is another series that I've been hearing a lot about, and I really anticipate enjoying. I think it is going to be a grimdark series that really resonates, and I have heard great things about it and the characters and everything, and I'm just really looking forward to getting into this and seeing what it is all about. I'm really looking forward to reading it with John. He always has a lot of really incredibly insightful, thoughtful reviews of the books that he reads, so it's going to be a great discussion. Okay, so as you can see, September's kind of loaded, and it's going to be really nice to get Long Price Quartet done because that one's off my plate then, and reading that plus Malazan plus The Last War by Mike Shackle is a lot in 1 month. I think Jade City is going to be a nice mix-up in there where it's not going to be quite as heavy of a read. Let's do TBR jars because I've never done this on my channel and I'm really excited to. I've been super nervous about TBR jars. Can anybody explain to me why TBR jars are so nerve-wracking? Like the spontaneity of it I would normally love, but I also have a booktube channel, therefore spontaneity is harder. So the two categories that I will be drawing from today are review copies, which are things that I realized the other day that I think this is going to be a better method for me to actually get through some of my review copies, because it's not that I don't want to read them. I get very excited to read them, but there's kind of a stack of them at this point, and I get very overwhelmed when I try to decide which one I'm going to read first. So we're going to eliminate that overwhelm, and we're going to draw them out of a TBR jar and see who I will be committing to for sure reviewing next month. I plan on doing one of those at least, if not two, every month to get through my stack, because these authors have been incredibly patient with me, and I never accept review copies on any sort of timeline, but also I want to write the reviews for them because I am very excited to get to all of these, and I think doing the TBR jar is going to really help. And then I also have a TBR jar that is friend recommendations. These are books that I've been sent specifically from close friends of the channel and books that I know people have really wanted me to read for a really long time. I actually pulled a book out of this for the month of August, and that was really fun. I read the book, it was a total mood read, and I had an absolute blast. So I can definitely see why TBR jars are more fun. But let's start with the review copies. Oh no. My hand doesn't fit through the... Hold on. Did we get one? Okay, we got one. What is it? What is it? Alright, the one that fell out of the bottle first is The Way of Edan. The Way of Edan by Dr. Philip Chase, which actually makes me very happy because this is one that I have been very excited to get to, and I now have a physical copy of it. And that's exciting. So The Way of Edan apparently is on my TBR for September. So that is the review copy that I will be focusing on for the month of September. Now I do want to make the disclaimer that that does not mean it is the only review copy I will be reading in September. If I start mood reading and I reach for another one, I may do that as well. Alright, friend Rex. Try not to look. We have Curse of Shallion. Can it focus? Are we focusing? Curse of Shallion by Lois McMaster Bujold. This one is a recommendation from my good friend Andrew D. Meredith, author of the Collation Saga and the Needle and Leaf series. This is a book that I'm very excited to read because it was written by one of my predecessors in the genre as a female fantasy author from previous decades, and I am very excited to get to this book. Andrew has talked about it very highly. And that's what I've got for the September TBR. How do you guys feel about your September TBR? Let me know down in the comments what you've got stacked up for the next month of reading. And I hope that you have a great time with all of them. Definitely remember to jump on the Greenbone Saga read-along on the channel if you're interested. And if you want to participate in my private Discord and Patreon discussions of the book, you can add to your experience and check out my Patreon down below. All of the proceeds that I make from Patreon go to support my own writing craft. So I really appreciate you guys. I hope you are having a fantastic August and reading 5-star books and having a great week, and I will see you in the next video.